I'm Martin Jarvis, and once again, I want to welcome you to listen. You know we're never going to get 40 acres and a mule, right? I think we figured that out. What would we do with 40 acres and a mule? I don't know. I think I could do something with 40 acres, as long as it was good land. I don't know if I'd want to work like that. But it's not going to happen. Nobody's going to get up off 40 acres and a mule for every black person in America. I don't. That'd be a lot of land, wouldn't it? Of course it would. Yeah, we're going to talk about is how do we get well? How do we become successful without 40 acres and a mule? There has to be a way. It's going to be a long road for us, simply because of the time it took for us to get to where we are today in our mindsets. And what I'm suggesting is, one of the culprits to our illness is the media, the news media. And I know folks love to call it the fake news. I'm not one of those people, not the fake news, not the fake, I don't mean going there. I mean even if the news is legitimate. If the legitimate news isn't going to benefit you or profit you, well, what's the point? Now see, to me, I remember back in the day, I used to work for NCR Corporation. And I used to love to take the bus to work, go through downtown. I'd get there kind of early. I'd stop at a little place. I don't remember what it was, a little place, and have a breakfast, coffee, and read a newspaper. I used to do that every day. I loved reading the newspaper. I loved to look at, just to be able to know what was going on. I'd get the local news, and I'd just read every page and finish with the obituaries, and see if there's anybody in there that I knew. But I loved reading the newspaper. I kind of miss that, especially with the internet, because you're just looking at little pieces and little things that might impress you from all over the world. So you never really stay up on your local news. You're just anything that will excite you. And oftentimes we just click on the things that we agree with or that we disagree with. We just want to look at it. We just want our position to be affirmed. So we're not even really getting a clear picture of the news. Now see, that's fake news. So it's not fake news because the news that you're reading is not real. It's fake news because news, it should be giving you just a nonpartisan, non-political, just reality of what's going on. And especially in one particular part of the world, because if you have a piece, from Bangladesh, if you have a piece, from Myanmar, if you have a piece from St. Petersburg and, over in Angola and Mississippi or something, you are not getting a clear picture of what's going on in the world, okay? And so that's fake news, okay? So news is balanced, and I don't mean opinion balanced, I just mean balanced is just give us the news without your slant, okay? That's the news. And so we really don't have that. And what we have is a capitalistic society somewhat. And I like that. I don't complain about that. I believe that people should be allowed to make money, that businesses should be allowed to make money. I think I read something recently, maybe even today, about Amazon, and folks were complaining because they didn't want to pay, they didn't want to be paid more taxes than everybody else, although they were making more money, Amazon money, so much money. And I'm thinking, you can't fault a man or a business for making a whole lot of money the best that they can. I mean, that's what you do when you're a business owner. You try to make as much money as you can and cut down as much overhead as you can. And we can't blame a man for making that money. I think some of it has to do with envy, jealousy, whatever. Because if we were doing the same thing, we would be making the money, we'd be the same way. That's how you get rich. That's how you make money. It's by having that mindset of making as much as you can, okay? And so my suggestion then for all the complainers is just better yourself, make yourself more marketable, and make more money yourself. Come up with an idea. Come on, with the internet, with access at your fingertips, spending all the time on social media, Facebook, just goofing around, looking at silly stuff. You're not trying to make any money. I have a particular community on Facebook, one particular page that has 23,000 members. Another page that has like 9,000 members. And I just was goofing around. And so I created because I had those members, I created some ebooks. Guess what? Guess who I market the ebooks to? Those communities. Okay, find a way. Find a way. They have those Amazon stores out there. You can have your own Amazon store. There are ways to make money. School, go to school. You know, I'll be 63 this year. When I was 50 years old, I had a high school diploma. I decided to go to school just to get an associate degree, like so many of my friends and my family members all had degrees. 10 years later, I had an MBA. You better yourself. Especially if you're younger than me. Do you a whole lot more good. So I'm just saying is, you know, when we have issues with other businesses and people that are making more money, don't complain about them and they should be paying more. Why should they? I mean, I'm cool with it. I don't have a problem with it. But I'm saying is, simply because we're not making money, we can't demand that somebody who was more successful than we are pay more. And, you know, maybe they should. But I'm suggesting that rather than complain about it, get yourself together. Make yourself better. You'll never make Amazon money, but you can make a whole lot of money. More than you're making now. Don't be satisfied. And so, I mean, learn something. You know, you don't even, man, if I was younger. Because I'm talking to the people who are now who I was. I wasted a whole lot of time. Okay, school is very important. Get an education, but get a right education. I wouldn't suggest getting a degree in sociology or philosophy or, you know, stuff like that, which might be cool and enjoyable, but isn't marketable. Okay? I was just telling my daughter that recently. She's in the 10th grade, but, you know, she's considering her colleges and all that stuff right now. I just impressed upon her, you know, it's important to do something that you like to do. But it's more important, or just as important, to do research and determine that by the time you graduate from college, what is going to be valuable as a degree at that time. Okay, so do your research. Figure that out. But there's always something that you can do. And what you can do is not complain. That's what that 40 acre and a mule thing. Come on now. I think that was promised by, Abraham Lincoln and them after the war? I don't know, some way back then. Come on, man, that was like 1864. This is 2021 now. Why are we still talking about 40 acres and a mule? To me, you know what I've enjoyed doing lately is going through somebody. I'm in one of these particular groups, that they're posting all these pictures of all these young black adults graduating from college from like the later 1800s all the way up until present. And it's really enjoyable to watch. But I'm saying that for everybody, maybe college isn't for everybody, but something is out there for you. Just figure out what it is. And if you don't think college is the thing for you, find something else. And if you can't find anything else, maybe college is the thing for you. And I didn't think college was the thing for me either. But you know, when I narrowed it down, it was really deeply, I had an issue with math. And so no, college was for me. But deep, you know, in my back of my mind was, you know, I'm not going to be able to pass that math, that algebra, that college algebra. And guess what? I found a way to make it happen. When I was at Sinclair through that associate degree program, I had a college algebra class, which I had to take, which I was dreading. Finally, I took it. I had taken every class, and I only had one class to take to graduate as college algebra. And I was like, man, maybe I should just quit now. Because that was really my issue. It wasn't that college wasn't for me. It was that there's one particular course that intimidated me. And so what I did was I took all the remedial courses. I didn't even test to find out where I'd land, okay? I didn't want to be that embarrassed. I just started at the first remedial class and took everyone up all the way to intermediate and advanced algebra. And once I had taken all those, then I took college algebra, earned my associate degree, went on to earn my bachelor's degree, went on to earn my MBA. So I'm just saying, find a way. Don't complain. Find a way. And see, when we're talking about the news, the problem with the news, you know, I call it fake news, you know, almost tongue-in-cheek and all. But to me, the news organizations are businesses. Come on, they have employees, right? They pay these guys. Some of these guys that we see every day, like on MSNBC and Fox News, they're making $1 million a year. Come on now. One of them, I think, is Sean Hannity from Fox News. I mean, everybody's either loving him or hating him, listening to his words. How come he said this? Tripping out. The guy has a high school diploma. Well, who cares what he says? And he's making $1 million, okay? So I'm saying that there's always, and I can't fault Sean. Come on, high school diploma and you're making $1 million? Man, I'd probably be on Fox News too. And maybe, who knows? Man, I work harder than that for less money, right? But all I'm saying is, you know, a lot of times we're hating some of these like the Candace Owens and some of these Stacey Nash. I think she's been reborn, you know, into the black community and all. But I mean, people were hating on them. But I mean, the money they were making, shoot. We need to just do the same thing. Don't do what they were doing necessarily, but realize you got to make your own way. You're not getting that 40 acres and a mule. And so again, we keep coming back, getting back to the news. What's important is to recognize, especially on social media and on the news, because you got half the nation watching MSNBC and CNN, and the other half of the nation watching Fox News. And we get energized from those stations, you know, because they solidify our positions, and we'll get angry, you know, at the other side, and the other side will get angry at us, and this we just go on and about, you know, and then when one side's president is in office, we're happy, and the other one's mad, then vice versa. And so what's going on? What do we see? What's the common denominator in that picture right there? Is the business, the news organizations are making a killing. Come on now. And the more folks that watch their programs, the more advertisers are paying them to advertise their products. That's where they're getting paid. And so all they're doing is saying whatever we need to hear to make sure that we stay tuned into those problems. So Fox News has all these inflammatory things they might be saying about the left because they know it's going to energize their base to watch their program. And so advertisers are going to pay them more money to advertise their products. MSNBC, they're going to be ragging on the other side the same way. Advertisers are going to be paying. I wouldn't even be surprised if you had advertisers in both, you know, the Fox network and the MSNBC network, the same products, because they both are gaining so much traction through our emotions. But at the end of the day, when the dust settles and the smoke clears, how is your bank account looking? And compare that to Tucker Carlson or Joy Reid. Come on now. Or the myriad of political internet, social media companies that are rehashing, putting out those news broadcasts to make you angry at the other side, and you know you saw that same news article a year ago. They're just rehashing the same ones because they know it brings emotions, it brings comments, it brings likes, and this is what marketers are using to impress particular sponsors with. How many clicks they get, how many likes, how many comments on particular posts. And so a sponsor will say, gosh, you got 300 people, you know, in 10 minutes clicking on that news article that you wrote. Yeah, you could advertise my product. I'll pay you $2 million. That's what it's all about. So we're getting mad, they're getting rich, and we're getting nowhere. We need to recognize that. Recognize we are being used and manipulated by the news organizations, by the social media news organizations. The reality is I don't even hate them either, because I believe in business. I believe in making money. I believe in however, I don't believe in selling drugs, you know. I don't believe in doing things like that will ruin people's lives in that way, or illegal stuff. But I believe in business. But we need to recognize that's all these news organizations are, whether they're on television, on cable, or on the internet, you know, inundating us through social media. They're just businesses that they probably don't even really care one way or another about the issue. Their issue is how many clicks can they get on their site? How many people can they attract that they can present to potential sponsors? How much money they made? That's it. And you know, most of it's political. Political one way or the other, political left or political right. But what does politics have to do with any of us? I mean, politics is something during an election. Politics is something, during, with the little bitty elections as well, not just the presidential election. But all the other times, come on now, politics means absolutely nothing. Back in the day before the internet, I remember when the other people were running for president, whether it was like the Reagan or Carters or Clintons and all of them, and we didn't have social media, we didn't have the internet, as we have today. We didn't spend all of our lives, all of our waking moments talking about politics, all riled up and mad at the other side and stolen the elections and all. None of this stuff happened before social media. Why? Because social media is the perfect... Look, I read something recently that Facebook has like 2.8 billion users. And Instagram about the same, and as well TikTok has a whole bunch of folks. I'm not too familiar with that. All I'm saying is there's a lot of people that if you just keep feeding them the same political news, look at that guy, look at this guy, keeping him mad, keeping him mad, this will go on forever. Man, I remember when Obama won the election. I remember leading up to the election, I had this friend out in California that I had met through another friend, cool guy, we were the same age, been in the military, we were all very similar, in our backgrounds and all. Except he was a Republican and I was not really, I was an Obama fan, okay? So we're having all these, he's throwing these stats about Obama, I'm throwing this about his opponent, we're going back and forth, you know how we do, right? This is all up until the election. Then Obama won the election, okay, we won. Then this guy is still continuing throwing stuff. I'm like, finally I had to defriend him because I'm not going to just live like that every day after the election. Come on now. I have a life. I'm a content person. I like to be happy. I love a debate. Anybody that knows me knows I love a debate, but not a useless debate. Not a worthless debate that's actually taking time away from me in things that I should be doing to better myself. I guarantee you, when you look at the politicians, we have our enemies and we have the ones we like, but all of them are like millionaires and they're getting there. Okay, so they're doing what they need to do to satisfy their bank accounts, to support their families. They're politicians. That's what they do. But so when we are functioning in politics with them, we're not functioning in what we do. We're still functioning in what they do. So we are still helping them fill their coffers, fill their bank accounts, support their family, while we're taking the time away from our own lives to satisfy our own families. We had folks, some of those insurrectionists that charged the Capitol building back on January 6th. They were functioning by the influence, whether it was conscious or subconscious or phone calls or whatever the motivator was, they ended up storming that Capitol. Now, they're not politicians. Nothing that they were doing was filling their bank accounts. Maybe a few of them were. But for the masses and the majority of the people that stormed that Capitol, they weren't making any money in that. They had been energized. They had been hyped up by certain politicians who that was their job to fill their bank accounts to keep a power and influence and all that stuff. And what I'm saying is, so now many of them, 5, 6, 7, 800 of them are going to prison. Now what about their livelihood? Well, they're already spending money on lawyers, so rather than making money, they should have been tending to their own business. Now they're and making money, now they're spending the money that they had already made in attorney's fees, just trying not to go to prison. So they got out of their lane, they weren't minding their business, they were minding the business of the politicians. And they were neglecting their own business. And some of them have just lost everything. and now that was an exaggerated, all those insurrectionists, man, that's like most of us. Most of us are just a little bit always on social media, getting mad, sharing, copying, pasting, posting, all this stuff. I'm like, what's the point? The election's over. Why are we arguing about that now? Okay, this side lost, this side won. That's the politicians' problem. The ones who are not in office now, the ones who are in office now, those who may not get elected, congressmen or senators or whatever, those who will get elected, that's their problem. Now, I got my job. I got my health. I got my family. I got the things that I have to take care of, and it's not politics because I'm not a politician. I'm a this. I'm a plumber. I'm a mailman. I'm a fireman. I work at this store. I work at that store. Whatever I do, that's what I do. See, we've been fooled, we've been tricked, we've been hoodwinked and bamboozled into functioning in somebody else's business, the politician's business. See, they're making money. And then the social media and the news, people who are keeping us focused on the politicians, they're making their money. So they're using us to make money. They're using us to help them make money, but we're not. We're the pawns. It's about time we, as not just the Americans, but everybody all over this world, needs to recognize there are only a few people in power, a few people in leadership. The rest of us are pawns. Come on. The rest of us are the ones that are used to sacrifice. The rest of us are the ones that are in pitched battle, you know, with the enemy of my leadership, with, you know, and with them. And they're standing on the mountaintop, you know, with binoculars saying, yeah, go get them. They're not in the mix. We're pawns. We're being used. We need to recognize that. It's not even about Republican. It's not about Democrat. Look, I've been in the workforce since I don't know, Gerald Ford. Okay, when I went in the military, I believe Gerald Ford was president. Okay, I believe. Maybe Ronald Reagan. I don't. But I mean, I've been in the military. I mean, I've been in the workforce for Republican presidents, Democrat presidents. You know, and Jimmy Carter and the Bushes and Bill Clinton, Obama, Trump, and now Biden. I've always worked. I think I've been unemployed 5 months. I've always been okay. They really won't affect you on the level that we're on. Okay? So we're the working people. We're not affected by who's ever in office. They just rile us up, those people on the border, those people. That's not really affecting us. For real. And then you have people that say are on welfare, blacks and white folks and Chicago, everybody that's on welfare. Their money's not being affected either, okay, by whoever's in office. So basically, whether you're on welfare or whether you're in the workforce, you're not really being affected by whatever party is actually in office, but they've got you believing you're affected. And now that they have the power of social media, which you could be using to enhance your business, you are simply participating in their social media process to enhance their business and the politician's business while you're neglecting your own business. And that's all of us in America. White, black, Asian, Latino, well, Latino's not, but I'm just saying Indian, Native Americans, all of us. The people, we the people, have been manipulated, have been used by the politicians, by the news organizations, by social media to strengthen their coffers, to fill their coffers, to fill their bank accounts, to make them all rich. But not us. At the end of the day, you know, We're firmly behind. Man, I've been in some neighborhoods, man, there are political signs in front of their yards that the sign is like more expensive than their house, okay? I'm just saying, we just get so wound up. We get so, I think of those MAGA hats, those red hats, you know, Make America Great Again hats. They were like, I had checked a couple of months ago, they're like, they had made 40, this one company had made $40 million in sales of those MAGA hats. How much money do you think the people had that were purchasing those hats, you know? I'm just saying we need to kick this around. There's success out there for you. There's wellness out there for you, but you got to get your mind right. You got to stop being led around. It's like that bull being led around by that ring in his nose. The politicians, the news organizations, social media, they're leading you all around by the nose everywhere that will make them money. And when it's said and done, it hasn't made you a cent. Okay? But we're staunch supporters of MSNBC. We're staunch supporters of Fox News. We're staunch supporters of the Republican Party, staunch supporters of the Democrat Party. But when it's all said and done, we've just been used. We're like that prostitute. The thought that this John really loved us. No, just using you, just using us. For real. We need to wake up. Get it together. Start minding our own business, taking care of our own business. Be successful. How's that? I know I got a little riled there. I hope you got something out of this conversation. I do want to thank you for joining me and listening, and I want to invite you to listen again. You take care.